Disclaimer, LinuxGameCast Weekly does not endorse the use of cocaine, because cocaine is fucking awesome, and prolonged use may result in additional superpowers. And welcome back to another LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. And this week, Unity. It's in the game of hiring former Electronic Arts CEO. And, well, Jesus wasn't originally an action hero, but he is now. And if you threaten to kill someone, it probably shouldn't be the guy in charge of the largest gaming distribution platform that your game just went out of early access on.
Fuck it, man. I'll kill you. Dreamfall Adventures is finally released, and let's just say it's a substandard performance. BloodNet is bloody and netty, and has one of the weirdest hardware requirements I think I've ever seen. And Guns of Icarus hits 138. Jeez, these guys are putting an assload of work in their game they released 2 years ago.
Dead Island is out for the Linuxes. The quality of the port is still up for discussion. Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition will get a simultaneous release. Drizzit left, the Penguins moved in. Lutris gets some competition, but not for long.
Those beautiful voices you just heard was J-Man from Canaria. Hello, sir. And back, Pedro A.S. from Space Portugal.
I thought that was David Truesdale.
No, and I've been stoning together with Shat Realm Dynamic joining us live. We form a bit of a cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, what's been going on in each other's life organs this week? B-Man, you've recovered from the horse ansicades?
Yes, I had the influenza, because I really like that name, because calling it the flu sounds so very weak. But yeah, last weekend I could barely move, which is why, again, thank you, Sandy, for jumping in at turbo short notice. But yeah, I'm okay now, ish.
Better luck next time, flu, J-Man.
Oh yeah, no, I had some good money on Pedro not making it to this week.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm out $50. Damn it, Ben.
Yoink.
What about
else?
you?
Nothing fun over here. We've just been futzing around trying to work out viable audio solutions, and we thought we had something working, and lo and behold, it gave us
We
a
were
nice
wrong!
Fuck you, that's why, because raisins. But next week, we're going to try something completely different. That should be brilliant. So, before we get started, let's pay some bills, J-Man.
Oh yeah. I don't think we can top Ebola date from last week. But if you have a better idea, you can head over to HostGator.com for some very cheap-ass hosting. You get unlimited disk space, unlimited bandwidth, control panel, one-click script installs, $100 worth of Google AdWords to pimp your stuff, 4,500 free website templates, all starting at $396 a month.
You know, that's 20% off, man. That's a fantastic deal, man. Schnappy will eat up the competition. But again, this only applies to hosting because you already have a turbo awesome domain site like Ebola Date, or unfortunately, Pedro did not die from the flu.tv because those are really cheap. We didn't want to spend a whole lot.
I just registered the .info for that.
Oh,
but of course, if you enter our awesome Linux Gamecast code of seizureness, there it is. All you epileptic people, rejoice. Linux Gamecast FTW. You get 25% off your purchase. That is unheard of. That's
amazing.
Insane.
It's like he's giving it away, but Schnappy is our friend, and he is your friend, too. But Schnappy's not the only, what type of creature would you call that? Evil? Like a horse?
Like a horse. Wow, our horse is looking really mad. He's really firing up the Twitter storm. It's our Steve
Linux
Update
of the week. Oh, man.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
This comes from
I'll kill you! I'll kill you dead!
You get a killing, you get a killing, you get a killing. You're cool, and you get a killing. PlayerAttack.com. You can check all this business. It'll be in our show notes later on. But game drop from Steam after Gabe death threat. Brilliant, you would think. You know, if you just had a game, you might know the game Paranautical Activity has been dropped from Steam after developer Mike Molbeck threatened to kill Valve's Gabe Newell. Yeah, That's basically what it is. I'm going to kill Gabe Newell. He is going to die. And you're asking, what would cause such outrage? Well, apparently, they just came out of early access, and it took Steam 2 hours to change that logo. So,
Oh no, 2 hours. That's the end of the fucking world.
Oh, it's damaging my sales. What will I do?
well, fortunately, what he did was, nope.
He went to the Twitters. And he had a bit of an incident, and now they're begging for your money because they've lost their lead programmer. They've lost their distribution, and now they're trying to stay alive.
And I mean, even the comments back this up. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this game that never really worked right on Linux, and it finally started working on Linux. Thanks for making my trading cards more valuable. I'm good on that. But this company has been promising multiplayer support and all this business for all this time and just never delivered. Now they finally nope, and they're turning around screaming, oh, you need to help us out. We're your best friends. And the entire community turned around and said, you know what, fuckers? You got what you deserve.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I'm actually a bit concerned because I'm pretty sure that Gabe Newell could physically dominate Mike Malbec.
Any day of the week.
Have you seen Gabe Newell's arms? I mean, he's a fat guy, but he's got some strength.
He kind of has to. But yeah, this whole thing was far more interesting to me than his game ever was.
No, I mean, in all fairness, I did play the game, and it was like, wow, this is buggy and really slow to load. I don't think we lost the best and the brightest during this, but
no,
speaking of dead things, do we have a Dead Island?
Yes, Dead Island, and it's out for the Linux. Sorta, kinda, ish. The Penguin is there on the store, and it is 75% off for the Game of the Year edition, which includes the all the DLC packs, which there are a few. And, well, if you don't know what Dead Island is, it's a MMO-ish cooperative type game. It's got a heavy focus on the multiplayer. Imagine...
It's kind of like Left 4 Dead with a persistent world, I'd say.
Yeah, imagine something between Left 4 Dead and Borderlands, but with, actually in the Left 4 Dead setting with all the zombies and all that, but with the Borderlands mechanics.
And more tight resource management because you don't get a lot of bullets.
Precisely. And there was a bit of a kerfuffle before the game was released regarding...
A kerfuffle, you said?
A kerfuffle, yes. Because the people who did the Mac port were actually virtual programming.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, oh shit, is this going to be another Witcher 2 for Linux? But apparently not. Because I've personally scoured the games folder, and I don't see any signs of a wrapper, so it doesn't look to be EON, but there are some problems with the port.
There are a lot of Microsoft specific files in there though. Sandy, Venn, and I were like going through the files like, it's not 100%. Someone has to dig into the executable and see what's going on in there.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, you have to decompile
it's
the
on sale. I fired it up, and then genuinely the first thing that it popped up in a windowed mode, and it says not in full screen. You need to be in full screen. I was like, why the hell did you start in windowed mode?
Yeah, I ran into that too, but beyond that, like for me at least on the latest NVIDIA drivers on my 670, ran without issue, consistently getting 30 plus frames a second.
That's definitely something I'm hearing.
Their choice in default control mapping is fucked up.
Wow, right.
Fuck the F key as like your action key and E as your attack. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, that seems to be the general thing, even on the Steam forums. People with NVIDIA cards are having no issues, but for me, and for everyone else using the Mesa drivers, the game doesn't render properly. You need to set DRIRC to allow shader extensions mid-shader, which is something that, by default, Mesa does not allow. And even after you do that, as soon as it's done loading into the game proper, it just crashes. So, yeah, maybe it'll be fixed by next week. Hopefully, that way we can throw some proper chairs at it.
One last thing I want to say about it. Check out the load times on Brad.
Oh
Yeah, compiling shaders.
No, it was great. I was downloading the game as Ben was trying to play it, and I was able to download 20% of the game by the time Ben had loaded a level.
I mean, it's jarringly slow to load. I mean, we're not talking dotsy slow, but yeah,
Close enough.
Fairly close, I'd say.
And, at least it didn't take 8 years.
At least. Oh. So this is about everyone's favorite episodic, non-episodic, re-episodic, non-episodic adventure game, Dreamfall
It's
Chapters.
a soap opera.
You might remember it from Kickstarter years and years and years ago. And after constantly changing their development model, constantly changing what they wanted this game to actually be, they have finally got it out. And lo and behold, right from the get-go, people are seeing performance issues on Mac and Linux because Unity.
Wow. Yeah, I was looking at that business.
Oh, go through their forums. It's just
I just got to quote this bit. This is their fix. In the meantime, make sure you have the latest drivers installed. You're not experiencing poor performance. Try to adjust the visual settings down. This may not help, but it's a good
I talk
first.
English good.
Right. But you can pick this up at, man, check that out. 29.99 wet stinky caches. What took so long?
You can buy the special edition for $40.
Because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what is it? I mean, a highly anticipated follow-up? I don't know. I've never heard of it.
It's a point-and-click adventure game that takes place over, like, multiple realities and whatnot. If you back the Kickstarter, you know what this is. We've mentioned this a couple times. What do they call it on their page? Highly anticipated follow-up to the adventure classics, The Longest Journey and Dreamfall, The Longest Journey. Dreamfall Chapters is an episodic, story-driven adventure game about choice and consequence, set in parallel worlds, a cyberpunk vision in the future, and magical fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can check that out if you want it. I would caution that if you're going to buy this, wait and see if they actually manage to fix their graphical and performance issues, because you might just be wasting your money.
I would very much like to give the game a proper go. I would very much like to give Dreamfall Chapters a proper go, but I'm not paying 30 for those performance issues. But yeah, Guns of Icarus. They have a buttload 95 bug fixes with their new version. There are two specific Linux fixes. Namely, let me see if I can find them. Here they are. The issue of pinging is shown instead of actual pings while on the server, and they fixed the gun object display and ship customization issues under Linux. Now, if you don't know what that is, no one's blaming you. I've actually played like 70 hours of the game, and I didn't personally run into any of these issues, but I haven't played for a while now, so maybe there was something that they introduced.
This is one of these games that I really wanted to get into, but I want friends to play with.
Yeah, playing with randoms at the early stages is not so bad, but when you get into the higher levels, it becomes sort of a game-breaking nuisance.
This game has actually been around for a while. I think it was actually one of the first Steam games on Linux.
It was definitely one of the early ones.
It was like first or second wave of like the big ones.
Kind of changed things. You're like, wow, I've not seen anything look this good in a long time.
Yeah, and definitely... like two years later, they're still putting a lot of work into it.
Still doing it, man. I think it's fantastic. It's like 14.99 wet sticky caches if you want to pick it up. But I'm kind of with you, J-Man. I mean, this is like something you want to have a regular crew to play with.
Yep.
Giggity. So, enough of that noise. Bloodnet.
Oh, yes. Well, Steamos, where all your favorite FMV games from the 90s come to die. This actually got released with a bunch of other games. So part
Shovelware! Woohoo!
Yes, as part of the Classic Adventure Pack, you can pick it up with... If I can click on that link.
Can't tell if that's bad drawing or just racist.
Darklands, Dragon Spear, Rex Nebular, and Sword of the Samurai. They're actually all available on Linux. But this is one of these like crappy 90s FFV games. It was released in 1993. This was back when CDs were becoming a thing, and they realized, holy shit, we could put videos on these because they're like little tiny laser discs.
Oh man, that was definitely such
I
a
don't.
thing.
I never actually played this. I don't know if any of you did.
No, when
No,
was this?
not this one
1993. Man, I was still a teenager way back in those days. No, but it's definitely what P-Man and J-Man, well, P-Man said shovelware. I kind of agree that everybody's busy porting their back catalog. I've had a lot of companies contact me. They're like, hey, we're porting all our back catalog. Do you want to test it? It's like, no, not really.
But you gotta dig these hardware requirements for Linux. The fuck is 100% OpenGL accelerated card, and what the fuck
Hey.
is any ALSA supported card on onboard audio?
Hey,
Gotta
I
set
work
those
with a lot-
expectations.
I work with a lot of graphics designers, and they spend the entire day at the office showing shit that they've done in Blender and whatever the fuck else they use to animate to each other. So I'm guessing that's what a 100% OpenGL accelerated card is. It's like a business card that they show each other.
Right.
Right. Okay.
But you know, Nick Schindler is not an action hero.
Well, he is now. That's right. Fist of Jesus. I kick ass for God.
Jesus.
Jesus. Something went wrong with Lazarus' resurrection. Help Jesus and Judas. Sweet. Now I kind of want to buy it. Fight the zombie infection using amazing combos, divine punishment, and special attacks from a game that looks clearly like a fucking app, and I'm guessing it. Yep, $9.99.
But you know, it's based off the hit movie. Actually, if you follow Ben on Google Plus, he posted the trailer for this a while ago, like the indie movie from Mexico, from where
Yeah.
Pedro's from. He was a part-
Sort of. But yeah, when I saw the logo show up on Steam, I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like the Fistful of Frags logo. I click on it, I watch the trailer, and yep, it's an app. And can we please stop with the star ratings at the end of levels? No matter how hard these developers try, there will never be Rovio, and their game will never be Angry Birds.
Pedro, you don't understand. They know that. They're just hoping to capitalize on the coattails and like, oh, look, star achievements. I did the good. Hail Jesus. Or however you hail Sky Wizards. I don't know. I'm confused.
Hail Santa!
Jesus, and it's starring Jesus and Judas.
But from Jesus to the devil.
The devil. This is the Devil's Dare, and Ven, I'm curious if you can translate those characters for me, because I don't know what that says.
It says you're a Jew.
Sweet. But this is a beat 'em up and copyright skirting simulator. They describe it as a bloody smash up parody of everything from the 90s. Oh, like that Saturday morning RPG that sucked.
Oh, God. Zebras everywhere.
No, this is more
Um,
along the lines of Golden Axe, though.
Sure, yeah. The final result, what would happen if everyone from that decade came together to create a baby, giggity, and that baby, so, I don't know, that kind of cuts off there. But, I don't know, like, if you scroll down, that's like Frankenstein, Jason Voorhees, the Xenomorph, and
A
I'm going to say some
Terminator.
Power Rangers villain.
It's a Terminator. It's not Frankenstein.
Oh,
yeah,
it
that's
is-
the
oh, yeah,
Terminator.
It's,
That is a Terminator.
it's very poorly drawn Terminator.
Well, again, copyright skirting simulator 2014. This is, we represent what is legally distinct from the Lollipop Guild. Lollipop Guild.
I don't know.
But yeah, you can pick that up for, it's on sale for $11.19 Canadian wet stinkies.
$10.39 American wet stinkies. I don't know what it is in
Yeah.
Moon, Portugal.
It's like
The exact same.
No regional prices.
$13.99
Nope.
on regular price.
So, P-Man, I heard you're going to
I'm
tell me
gonna
about
get
something that happened billions of years ago in the future's past.
So yeah, at around episode 24, I had been in the single episode of LGC Weekly, which had been the week before, and Ven and Jordan talked about Windward, which is a 3D isometric naval combat game with, at the time, it was basically just a skirmish sort of game. You just went in, killed the other ships, be done with it. Now they've introduced some RPG and strategy elements into it, and they went through a very
Wow, they want $20 for this thing now?
yeah, it's not worth the $20, but I'll get to that. It's I actually liked the game like a lot. And now that the
Does
early
it make you
access
feel tingly in your pants, Pedro?
Sort of, but the early access version is very feature incomplete. Namely, the skirmish mode that was available in the alpha beta demo thing from back then is gone now, and they have a campaign mode of sorts that allows you to conquer territories, and from what I've read at least, the multiplayer is actually working. Now, if they only introduced the sort of persistent world type thing like Neverwinter Nights had, I'd very much like that. But yeah, like Ven said, it's not worth $20. I bought it in 2012 for like $7.
Well, I
And
mean,
that
it had a bit
felt
of a
more
story
reasonable.
behind it. Originally, it came out, and the guy was like, oh, it's just a game, try it. Then there was a crowdfunding thing that everyone looked at and went, no.
Yeah.
So then he said,
It was all right.
He
from
said,
what I heard.
yeah, it wasn't a bad game, but there was no response to the crowdfunding. He's like, okay, well, I'm not going to develop this anymore, and you can download it for free. And now it's, I don't know. Yes, the aristocrats.
The
J-Man,
aristocrats.
Or are you dying to...
But you can also pirate this game about pirates.
You don't want to play
That's
that?
enough of that.
Yeah.
Time to fire the horse from our development staff and beg you guys for some more money. But enough of that. Coming up next, news, where we get bought out by EA Sports.
It's in the game.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for good old Linuxy news. Ignore Jordan, he's a bit of an ass. Now, let's start us off this week by saying that John Riccitello never came so close to Linux as he did this week.
That's
this week.
right. Unity. It's in the game. Actually, EA. Former EA CEO, Riccitello? Riccitello, whatever. Calling him John. Or Bob. Now Unity CEO. What does this mean? Thursday. Business afoot. Co-founder David Helgenson has stepped down as CEO and has jumped. Wow, this is shit written. Former Electronic Arts CEO. He's already been on the Unity board. Well, that's true. He's been on the Unity board for a while, which doesn't speak volumes. What does this mean for Unity? Not too much. Yeah. Well, so, like last week and the week before that, we talked about Unity was looking for a buyer. Like 2 weeks ago. Then last week, they came out and said, we're totally not looking for... Well, they didn't say that. They answered all the questions except for, like, were you looking for a buyer? Like, dodge that.
Maybe.
And this week, we get this news. For me, I'm just going to say my little spill, because I think this means, really could only mean one of two things, and that's the dude is definitely going to be prepping Unity for sale or acquisition.
Yep.
And Trifity says Linux support, is a speculation, might be pooled under the guise of consolidating resources, because I think the entire Linux porting ability was developed in the 20% time or whatever they call it in Unity land. And P.S., ladies and gentlemen, in my little spiel of closing, Origin, powered by EA. Think about that in your brain organs.
Oh, no. You see, you're not going to lose Linux compatibility because you can just export it to Android and play it through Chrome runtime.
Yes.
That's native under Linux.
Or so they will claim, because if I remember correctly, it was EA under John Riccitello that introduced those Linux games to the Ubuntu Software Center, which were basically nothing else than deb files containing a URL file that would play a browser game.
Speaking of browser games, FTL is playable native in a browser, though. I didn't buy that because, damn, that's just productivity down the toilet.
J-Man,
But
do you think this is
now we're
going to be
talking
good
about
or
well-coded game engines. So.
Yes.
bad? Is this going to be good or bad for Unity, man? What do you think?
You know what? It's too early to say. Everything is just pure speculation. But
love
I
that.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if this guy is prepping Unity for sale. It looks
That's
like
what he's going to do.
it seems like something that a larger company would buy up just to nix a bunch of competition, not necessarily to use.
Yep.
All right. Enough of that. That happened. True story.
Icewind Dale.
Stay a while and listen. Wait, no, that's the wrong RPG. Same
That's Diablo.
No, Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition. If you have heard of Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, that finally made it to Linux years later, but this is coming to Linux on the 30th of, was this October or November?
It's October.
October. So a couple days. Actually, maybe when this show comes out. You'll be able to play Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition on your Linux PC. And as Pedro points out, there's a bit of a price disparity. If you go to the Play Store or the App Store, you can pick this up for, what, $10?
Yep. $10 for Android and $10 for iOS.
What, Pedro, what is it on PC?
On PC, it will be $19.99 when sticky caches for...
Brilliant! For the exact same game.
Yes, the exact same game. You get to pay $10 extra for that 1080p experience. Of course, there are tablets that have 1080p screens. Hell, there has a tablet that does 2K. Yeah.
In all fairness, I think these guys are going to be throwing some keys at us, and it's going to be brilliant. But somebody has to explain to me what the all is an Icewind. I don't know what it is. Never heard of it. Genuinely.
Well, you know what? It's more shit that I already own and can play on every single platform via GemRB.
Yeah, it is a 2.5D RPG game from the early 2000s.
Basically think Wasteland 2, but with like Dungeons and Dragons. That's it.
So boring.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But don't get me wrong, because I played the shit out of OG Icewind Dale back in the day. But as far as remakes go, Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition didn't really do it for me. It's like, oh, this is the same game, except it scales to 1080p now, sort of, kind of, not really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. If you already own the game and you can play it on GemRB, I don't think it's worth it to actually buy the Enhanced Editions. It does include all the expansions and includes some bug fixes and some additional content. But I don't know if it's worth paying for the same game again. If you've never played the games and you're maybe interested, sure, Enhanced Edition's a good starting point. But if you already own it, GemRB is a thing. It takes like 10 minutes to set up on your Android tablet or on your Linux desktop, and it's SDL, so you know it fucking works.
Brilliant. Yep. So from Icewind Dale to Austin Poston. And for you Arch users out there, that means Outpost. What is it? You never heard of it? I don't know. Me either. But it's free, I think. Maybe, possibly. Let's go to the demo.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Mm-hmm. There's a source code.
Source code too.
All right. Does it bother to explain what it is?
Well, apparently there's a technology tree. No, I think it's just like a base building game where you
I'm looking at the tutorial and help, and they have table of contents, basic controls, the moon environment, basic worker needs, the daily schedule, buildings requirements, damage, output, storage, enemy attack, and advanced buildings.
So it's kind of like Dungeon Keeper, but not quite.
No, not exactly. It looks more like a very trimmed down early SimCity-ish that focuses on building a base on the moon, maybe?
You mean sort of like Free Civ, but on Earth?
Yeah, ish, kind of.
I don't know. It's open source. Price to sell. Go check it out. That'll be in the show notes. We always like to show a little love, even to small developments, and if it's a one-man team or whatever, keep up the fantastic work. It can only get more solid.
And speaking of open source and priced appropriately games, we have another Minecraft clone, Terrasology.
Well, this one's
terrorists.
Terrorists.
I gotta say,
Terrasology.
This one's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been around for a while. This is the stable build 42, but it is a very pre-alpha sort of stable. And if you go on over to their website, there will be links in the show notes as usual. You will see that it is basically just Minecraft with pretty, focus on the air quotes there, shaders right out of the box. And yeah, Van's showing you the video right now. You can see that looks a lot like Minecraft. And it is also... Yeah, almost. but it is also made in Java, and it is open source. So if you would like to contribute, go on over to the link, which we will provide in the show notes for your entertainment later, or
terroristology.org.
I mean, for all your terroristology needs, but I think this is important, especially I think everyone needs to get behind at least one of the Mineclone projects, because now we have MS-Craft.
I would say Mindtest would be the guys to stick your stock behind.
Possibly. And we're still waiting. There's rumors of where you shut the hell up and let me finish a sentence. That's my first rumor. That Microsoft is thinking about Minecraft too, which that scares me, but I mean, it does need almost a complete rewrite. It would benefit from an actual API. I think that would be interesting for Minecraft, but it's Microsoft. Microsoft is like a cat. Right now, I don't think Microsoft intends to do anything stupid, but it can't help itself.
Yeah, it's Microsoft. And MSN Craft is... Okay, this game actually differs from MSN Craft in a way that they're looking to introduce RPG elements and dungeon keeper type elements like the NPC helpers that will go around digging stuff out so you don't have to. So I'm actually looking forward to it. They had my curiosity when I first looked at it, and after I actually read their entire blog post, I'm like, okay, you have my attention.
You had my curiosity. But now you had my attention.
Yeah, bro.
No,
So,
like I said, if I were gonna pick a Minecraft clone, I'd probably go with Mindtest because it's written in C++.
And it works on the Raspberry Pi.
It works on the Raspberry
Pi.
Pi.
Get the
Well,
hell out.
to be fair, Minecraft Vanilla works on the Raspberry Pi. Well, the Android version, anyways. But a challenger appears.
Indeed.
Dun, dun, dun. So this comes from LibreGeek.com, .org, and
I'm sorry, I just zoomed into the page and it shrank.
yes,
Brilliant.
Wow.
But yeah, this is RetroRig 0.9.5, and it is basically Lutris with an XBMC, or Cody, as they're calling it. Is it Cody or Corey? Cody, yeah.
No one knows.
It's got an XBMC front end, and it, much like Lutris already does, it provides several different emulators already configured. So all you have to do is go look at the ROMs, which they say that they are looking to add to RetroRig as well, a way to search for the ROMs, and that's basically it. Now, Jordan yeah.
Yes. So I think it was Maddie or someone posted this in chat realm, and immediately afterwards, I see Strider posting that thread. Oh, sweet! It's GPL3. And he immediately starts going through the source code looking for shit he can rip out and integrate into Lutris.
Yeah, so
Brilliant.
there's an SDL2 sort of compatibility thing that they have included in RetroRig, which Strider was like, oh, SDL2 for old-ass emulators that don't actually support it, but they can with this? Yoink!
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
all of
it's a brilliant act of plagiarism.
I love it because that's how the open source works, but everything's fantastic with that. I like to see more stuff, but I don't know about requiring XBMC. When was the last time I even touched that? Billions of years ago in the future's past.
So it's installed on the Steam box. I just never turned it on.
Right?
Yeah.
What's this about? Star Sector?
Oh, this is Star Sector. This I didn't actually get a chance to play this week, but we did cover it before. It's essentially it's a 2D isometric ship RPG simulator thing. It based on their description, it kind of reminds me of that old Wing Commander spin-off game, Privateer. You do have to purchase it. It is what's the fucking price of it? $15. That's $15 gets you into their early access and development branch, because they're still kind of working on it. But you can build up your ships, you can build up a fleet, and have your crew and whatnot. It's an interesting little project. There is a demo that you can play, so if you're interested, you can check that out.
Yeah,
It's
even
at
more on that. I think I
fractalsoftworks.com.
played this genuinely a very, very long time ago, or something that
It used to be called Starfarer.
That might have been it.
This is good. I actually went through their pre-order page and pushed the buy button, and apparently it's $15 without value-added tax. If you
that!
Yeah, if you want to purchase into the whole game, it will cost you $18.45 US, or 15.83 euros.
Roughly 20 space bucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Check it out. It might be something that's kind of fun. I mean, it's pretty. You can tell a lot of love has went into it. It's not.
Yeah, no. The guy has like huge blog posts going in on like the various philosophies he used for ship design and whatnot. It's actually fairly interesting to read.
Let's just hope the O'Neill doesn't show up and curb stomp everyone.
It's all about the Daniel Jackson, man.
Go send us out of here.
All right, that's enough of that. Coming up next, we cheat, we lie, and we scream, and we threaten to kill each other.
Good times.
You fucking cheaters, I'll kill you. We are throwing chairs at ScreenCheat. This is on John Riccitello's Dorito engine. It's developed by Samurai Punk. You can check it out at samuraipunk.com/screamcheap.html. It is $15, and what is it? ScreenCheat is an online and offline split-screen multiplayer FPS where everyone is invisible and you have to cheat to win. Remember when looking at your friend's screen in GoldenEye was frowned upon? Well, those days are gone in ScreenCheat. We encourage it. And of course, any chair, or any game that faces the Chairquisition, any chair that faces the Gamequisition has to face the Chairquisition. One chair being shit. 2 chairs means that it's... 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that it's astounding. We also have our categories of doom mixed with working shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So let's kick this off into high gear. Then I'll kill you. Does it make with the working?
Well, good thing you've killed me, because now I will not be able to publish your game on Steam. Right.
No! I need money! I'm sorry, Ben. Please donate to me.
We would just like to make a public apology. LinuxGameCast has fired Jordan in hopes of To the point. How does this make with the working on Ubuntu 14.04 LTS dual 770 octo-core powered box of business? Didn't have any big issues. I mean, it launched, it ran, keyboard, gerbil controls, no issues. But it can be a little flaky, not all the time. It's genuinely like when you're starting the game with the controller support, but I'll get more into that. But that little nuance right there, I'm going to have to ding it 1 chair for makes for the working, but I'll give it 3 chairs because it's a very solid performer out of the gate, J-Man.
Yeah, I didn't run into any issues. There are a couple issues with controller detection, but I'll get to that in controls, which is the appropriate section for that. Beyond that, the game works. It doesn't do that stupid fucking Unity thing where it tries to take over both of your monitors. Plus, for that, 4 shares.
On what?
Yes, Fedora 20 on my 670 1090T Thuban powered box of By My Footness here.
Brilliant.
And on the calculator with an i3 370M and a 5650 HD, it worked out of the box. Again, like Jordan said, it didn't do that stupid thing like Unity games like to do where they try to stretch all the way across your monitors, so good on them for that. And also on my work laptop here, which has a i3 4030U and an Intel 4400, it also ran out of the box. No major issues, so 4 chairs.
All right, so that's 3 chairs for mix with the working shiny and sounds. Ven, was it shiny? Was it soundy? What's up with that?
Shiny and sounds. Unfortunately, I was subjected to the horribleness of this game yesterday. Horribleness of fun, kind of. Man, it attempts to kind of go, and take a look at it with that N64 aesthetic, with the flat textures and all that. Nothing in there is going to blow your eye pussies out of your brain organ. Sounds, there were sounds. Boom. Shoot. Boom. But the sounds that you're primarily going to hear or the ones of the people playing with you, especially if you're mic'd up and audioed like we are, cussing and screaming, and generally hating each other, trying to figure out what in fuck all is going on. That is really one of the biggest parts of it. But I had a fun time with it. It looked good. The shinies were decent. So, like I said, it's not going to blow your brain organ apart, but we'll give it a 3 chairs.
So the aesthetic of this game is fairly weird, but it does so for a logical reason.
Yep.
Levels are typically chopped up into 4 categories: red, purple, pink, and blue. And the idea is because you cannot see where everyone else is and you have to watch their screens, it makes it very easy to sort of figure out where generally they are and their various landmarks and whatnot. It's not supposed to be super complex, but if it were, then the game would be completely unplayable. So again, graphics are very simple, colors are very basic. It's supposed to aid you in figuring out where you are in relation to everyone else.
Campbell's soup.
Campbell's soup. Oh, yeah. The fucking tomato soup. I'm going to hide there. I know where that is. So do I. Blam, blam, blam. I'll get into that in the fun section, though. Visually, it really isn't anything special, though. This game really doesn't derive any value from its appearance, but so I can't give it the full score. It's just kind of meh, so it gets the meh score of 2 chairs. Also, sounds, yes, there are sounds. I can't hear them over me screaming at Sandy or...
Yeah,
Sandy.
the graphics for me on the Mesa drivers, the guns, they have a lot of texture flickering. And since the guns are actually pretty big, they actually take the entire lower quarter of their screen whenever you reload. Yeah, you're looking at the guns sideways, and the flickering is very, very jarring. I know for a fact that this is a Unity thing, and they don't like the open source drivers very much. But on my work laptop...
now that EA is in charge, it'll be all different.
Yeah, but on my work laptop with an Intel HD 4400, it doesn't have the texture flickering, but the shaders don't even work with this one. So for me, 2 chairs.
All right, so that's 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Up next is Control, then.
Control, put yourself in control with this. That's something we decided on last night. Sandman, Ultimo here in the chat realm dynamic, listening along with J-Man. I mean, we're all going to play with controllers because this is supposed to be harkening back to the N64 days, correct? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, we're trying that.
Except I didn't.
Yeah, except you didn't. We were wondering why you were killing us to death so often at the end of that recording series. It worked. I mean, it was the perfect storm of nope for me, because playing any type of first-person shooter with a controller means you're a horrible person, and you really should build
Sandy.
a log cabin. But I tried it, mixed with, this is how people actually do it, but it doesn't have auto-aim. It's called cheating in the PC world. So it made it stupidly more difficult, and they worked. I didn't have a big issue with the controls, except what I was going to get into, I mentioned earlier, was at the screen, your launch screen. I don't really, it's buried under a bunch of crap right now, but your D-pad wasn't really controlling the things. Then if you move, you clicked on it with your gerbil. Then all of a sudden it was like, hey, it worked now. And once that's sorted, it was golden, but out of the box with the controller at first, you're like, oh, this only doesn't completely work. So I can't give it the perfect one, but, you know, for playing FERPs with a controller, it was as painful as I genuinely expected it to be at 3 chairs, J-Man.
Yeah, I had that issue too. Sometimes it'll pick up your controller, sometimes it won't. But it's not something that rebooting your game will fix, because magically your controller will get detected while the game is playing, which, if you have it leaning against them, could seriously cock up your aim. One cool thing I want to note about controls is that the hybrid multiplayer is kind of cool, because you can have a mix of people locally and people on the internet, and it doesn't really expose as anything different. It's still pretty nifty, I would say. But yeah, no real issues with the controls. They're not perfect. And again, it's first person shooter controls on a controller. You can only do so much with those. Keyboard and mouse, no issue, works about the same. So 3 chairs for that, 3 chairs for control. Pedro, I hear you have some issues though.
Yeah, I didn't
Someone back up
actually...
the ambulance.
I wasn't actually going to, mention the controls, but since you guys brought it up, yeah, this game, I wasn't even going to attempt to play it with the controller, but it showed up a pop-up saying that, oh, we do not recognize which controller you have plugged in. Could you help us set us up? And I'm like, okay, let's try it. So they say, hold A, hold B, hold that. So I was going through all of that, and I noticed that in some of the prompts to hold specific buttons, it would not register. It simply wouldn't. I held a button, and then I pressed another button, and
So
it would
didn't
immediately
actually have
change.
a screen that said, "Is this seriously you're playing with a PS2 DualShock? Seriously?" Question mark.
No, it simply outright refused to configure it properly. Now, if I exited out of the game, reset the controller settings, and then used Xbox DRV to emulate the Xbox 360 controller, it would work fine. At least for my testing, I didn't bother with it too much. But with the keyboard, now that's where the real problems start coming along. First, you can't reassign controls. If you're going to make me play on WASD while still keeping my left hand on the mouse, you get an automatic 1. And 1 chair for controls. And also, where the hell is the mouse sensitivity slider?
On your mouse.
Yeah, my mouse has 3 settings, but that's it.
What's that give us, J-Man?
All right, so that's 2 chairs for control. And finally, our subjective category. Foon!
Hate this game. Hate it. Loathe it. I played it with 2 Canadians, and trust me, that's not an easy thing for a man to do in any position.
That's way too much Canada.
I see it.
Covered in maple
This
syrup.
game will destroy friendships. This game will cause you to physically want to reach out over the interwebs and punch someone. And Flying Spaghetti Monster help you if they are physically next to you. Because it's all about cheating. And I mean, it hurt my brain organ in a good way. Because it's a gimmick. Granted, completely a gimmick. But it's a fun gimmick. It's a gimmick that I've not seen before. And you trying to pay attention to what you're doing. We only played it with a 3-player. And once you start realizing, oh, right, you got to pay attention. Make sure you're not hiding anywhere particularly descript, like Campbell's soup. That'll get you killed to death pretty often. The gun selection, I kind of didn't like that with, oh, you get 1 gun. You can't change guns.
Well, you can change guns, but only after you die.
I was getting to that, but, it's a magic thing when I finish this, and it's without you interjecting. Didn't like the ability not to change guns during gameplay. It's not my thing. It angers me to the point where I would rage, and Ven rage is not it causes things to get broken intentionally, so I try to avoid that. This is not something you want to play while drunk or Irish. Well, that's synonymous. Anyway, love you. Send your hate mail to Pedro at LinuxGameCast.com.
It's always me, man. It's always me.
I'm going to give it 2 chairs, kind of a meh, because it's something I knew I wouldn't really enjoy. I'm not part of the N64 era, because I had a computer at that time. If you're into this business, check it out. I mean, it's fun. It's fun, but it's not the good kind of fun for me. It's the rage-inducing fun. So if you're like me, take that with a grain of chainsaw, J-Man.
This is a fantastic party game. I'm serious. If you get like 4, if you have like a bunch of people around, and you want to play a fun game, this is fun. Yeah, it can be a bit smashy at times, but I think that's part and parcel with the genre of games. I would disagree with Ben. This is great for getting drunk or high with your buddies and playing. I certainly had a blast in Altered Mental States with Ven and Sandy. I will say that 3-man is a complete clusterfuck. Because you can't just pay attention to your screen or one other person's screen. You have to pay attention to everyone's screen. So 4-man multiplayer is just a complete clusterfuck. Beyond 3-man, which is a total clusterfuck. 4-man is double complete clusterfuck.
Say clusterfuck one more time.
Clusterfuck! Clusterfuck you and your stupid clusterfucking face. I'll kill you dead! LinuxGameCast would like to apologize for any deference centered on
LGC cares, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
But yes, very, very, very. I had a blast playing it. I don't know about these fucking heathens, but that's my piece. 3 chairs for sure. Definitely worth your time if you have some friends around.
Well, let's see. It doesn't let me adjust the mouse sensitivity in the game itself. I have to resort to the hardware controls. Gun textures flicker like crazy, and it's forcing me to play with WASD. Well, WASD is on the left side of the keyboard, and you have, if you're left-handed like me, you have the mouse on the left side of the keyboard too, so you're playing with your hands like this. Not fun. Not fun at all. I would have actually given it 3 chairs if it allowed me to change the controls, but it doesn't, so 1 chair.
And looking at chat realm, Sandy's onto the joke that we were supposed to do this at the top of the review, but apparently we forgot. That's 2 chairs for fun, and if we tally that all up, that is a 2-chair game, but I would be tempted to throw an asteroid on that, because Pedro had some personal problems and
major gripes with it.
Major personal problems, right?
So,
final
thoughts.
So that's 2 chairs for final thoughts.
Yeah.
Then
I like it. If you got enough USB ports, this is a great party game. It would definitely be a good party game for your Steam box and to sit around. I like seeing something new, and this delivered that. It was a mind-altering experience of making you want to kill people and getting killed to death a lot. That was also interesting. It's kind of priced to sell. It wasn't too bad. What was the price of it again?
$15.
Yeah, $15. Might wait till you get a 25% off on that business, but then again, I mean, jumping into random YOLO swag Dorito online play with people you don't know, I don't know how enjoyable that's going to be if you can't actually say disparaging remarks about them other to their ear organs while you're playing. So keep that in mind. Great game, but not even if you have anger issues. You don't want to mess with this if you think you might want to create anger issues in your life, because this will do it. I think it's going to be huge.
It's a monopoly on Linux. It ends friendships, as Ben says.
Final thoughts?
It is certainly as colorful.
Yeah, like Ben said, yeah, you definitely need to have some friends for this. Rando online matches does not seem like it would be all that fun. I would highly recommend it. It's a bit pricey. I was actually going to buy a 4-pack for a bunch of people I know who I want to play the game with, but I found out Steam doesn't let you actually buy 4-packs if you own a copy of the game. It's sad. Even if you want to gift all 4 copies, it's kind of stupid. I would still recommend it. I would say pay full price, because these guys put some work in their game and they actually spat out a fun game, and that is a problem I've seen with a lot of games lately, is that they're just not good old-fashioned fun. This is good old-fashioned fun. I would say this is I would give it my fair score of 3 chairs. Pedro, last thoughts?
Again, I have nothing against the game in itself. It's just that it's 2014. People should by now know that not everyone plays with the exact same layout. They don't. They just don't. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that, due to a physical deformity,
wave to the lovely people, Pedro.
I have to, play with the directional keys because since I use the mouse on the left side, I'd rather have my movement keys on the other side of the keyboard so my hands don't bump into each other. That's a big problem because at that point I'm not having fun. I'm thinking about managing the space and where the hell's my keyboard sitting so I can play the damn game. If they fix that, they get rebindable keys into the game, I will personally go out of my way to recommend this game. Until then, I'm sorry. Nope.
All right. Well, everyone ignore Pedro's opinion because it doesn't really matter. Coming up next, hate mail. We find out why we love episodes with Sandy on them. Running and producing a free show turns out to be really fucking expensive. So if you head on over to linuxgamecast.com/podcast, or just click on the podcast link on linuxgamecast.com, you can click on any number of our donato buttons here. A recurring donation of about $3.50 or $10 a month gets you a producer credits and access to our show notes. And if you can't afford a recurring donation and just want to throw us a one-time wet sneaky donation, you can totally do that. Get put in our glorious Linux Gaming Master Race credit and on the Wall of Shame on our website. So check that out. Give us some money. We need it. We wants it bad.
Oh, hello there. I didn't see you. It seems that it's that time of the week again where we read out your hate mail. But it's not really hate mail. But once again, just a quick reminder, if you'd like to get in touch with us, go on over to linuxgamecast.com, push the lovely, lovely contact button on the nav bar there, fill out your name, fill out your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove you're smarter than Ven's bot, and away we go. Now, again, if you're trying to promote Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Steam Greenlight, whatever sort of crowdfunding campaign you got going on, make sure to include a demo, beta, alpha, Steam key, whatever you want to call it, with your message. If you don't, we'll redact your stuff. Sound fair? All right, let's get into it.
Big words.
So, SDL2.
This is from the guy who's currently hacking on our forums, Mr. T-Hand. He says,
Yes.
on Steam Lug 9 minutes ago, in Mr. League by Bard promises in Unity 5 will use SDL2 controller configs and automatically grab them from big picture mode. Fingers crossed, and then he gives a link. Well, you know, I'm sure EA is ecstatic.
Yes.
You know, Tack, I love you. You know that. You're like a redheaded stepchild to me. I remember having the whole talk with Ryan C. Iculus, G-Money, whatever you want to call him, a G+ thread that he showed up, and just saying, you know, when we first got the Unity controller thing that pops up, which now I just call Nope. Just, I don't even bother playing that, because like, oh yes, and, you know, Levi was adamantly, as well he should, you know, with his company, defending us like, this is perfectly usable, and while the entire rest of the known world were going, no dude, that is not usable. It says, oh,
No.
you want to map Control Access YZ to what moon device, option 3, and how does that apply to in-game? I don't know. So, but he did say, even before this, it's good to hear him doubling down on it, that he's going to use technology that's been around for
Modern.
a while and really genuinely works on everything it's applied to.
Yep.
Good on Unity. Do you got any thoughts, P-Man, J-Man?
Even Steam, like MT says in the hate mail thing, even Steam in itself is already using SDL2 to capture the controller configs that you set up in big picture mode and pass it on to games that support it.
They
Unity,
also pass it on to the SDL developers.
Yep. And Unity, at this point perhaps the most widely used engine, does not support it. Why?
Because you just came.
Apparently.
Thoughts, J-Man?
Because it works on Android. That's the important thing. Up
But
next,
SDL2 works on Android too.
Shut up. From Ashley G. Confused face. Wow, last week's episode was different. Still enjoyable, but different, of course. It's part and parcel with our fuck it, we'll do it live modus operandi.
And also, I was dealing with two Canadians, And
double complete Canadian.
did
Too much
write Ashley back and say, well, that must have been your first Sandy episode. And he or she wrote back and was like, well, it was. I still found it enjoyable. It was just a bit different.
Didn't by different, you mean train wreck?
So,
Yes.
P-Man, what are your
Yes.
thoughts on this since you totally noped out of the episode 45 minutes before we started fucking recording last week?
Yeah, I was not feeling very well, so
Oh, who
whenever I
cares?
finally managed to get to the phone, that's when I said that. But yeah, I actually watched the episode, and I didn't think it was too bad, but yeah, you got a little bit of the Sandman. It seemed okay.
I think everyone's first Sandy episode is a jarring experience, but
Yeah, granted, I mean, it's Sandy after all we're talking about. He does have an impact.
well, can you hear me now? This is from Matthias. Matthias. Please pump up the jam. I mean, pump up the recording volume. I can hardly understand you on my tablet while eating, smiley face. ESP Vin. Yes, I'm reading your mind right
He
now.
does have extrasensory perception.
ESP
Yes.
Vin is best Vin. I know what you did last night. Can I just say this? I have an Nexus 10, which has really nice front-facing stereo speakers. And not just this show, but a lot of shit I watch on the tubes. You know, I'm a documentary junkie. It doesn't matter, as long as it's mildly interesting and involves Nazis, I'm going to watch it. And go to bed to that. And 9 times out of 13, the volume's too low. I'm like, fuck. I really wanted to know what Hitler did with UFOs and tinfoil hats.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but
Right.
Aliens.
Pedro, back me up. I mean, sometimes the volume on a tablet without a boosting system.
If you're listening to YouTube on a tablet or a phone or a laptop even, use a pair of headphones. Trust me.
My solution is, use your Bluetooth headset. So, if you're not poor, pump it through your Sonos. Actually, you can be whatever. Buy Sonos speakers one at a time.
Yep.
Or at least tell people you did that so they don't realize that you spent, $2,000 on speakers around your house. 50-50 on that business, but on that bombshell, let's cue the music! Because you can always find me, I'm Vince Stone at Vince Stone on the Twitter nets, plus Vince Stone on the G pluses. What's up, Pete, bro?
I'm Jordan Spong. You can find me on the Twitter nets at The Burning Fool or on Google Plus at plus Jordan Quang. And
Yes.
this lab rat, this Ebola test patient, stuck with so many needles just so we could get him here this week.
I've been called worse, but I am usually known as Pither Matos. You can find me at and accounted for on Twitter or plus Pither Matos on Google Plus.
All right, beautiful party people, thank you for watching us live. Thank you for watching us on the YouTubes and Chat Realm Dynamic. Thank you for being there, telling us how horrible we are. And remember, you can always join in the party the other 6 days of the week at Chat Realm Static at LGC.LinuxGameCast.com. So I guess all we have to say at the end of the day, especially towards P-Man, better luck next time, Influenza.
Better Nuck.
Better Nuck.
Show title.
Better next.
Better Nuck last time. Yes.
Next time. Do better, Ebola. That's all I have to say.
Copyright claim from Intel Nooks.
We are professionals, ladies and gentlemen.
Believe it or not.
Professionals.
You see, that's the trick. You just create something, and after you do it long enough, you can call yourself professional. It's brilliant.
Yes.